good morning, good evening, whatever it is for you, and welcome back to Vibes with Sid. Today I am back and I kind of switched it up a little bit. I gave you guys a true crime documentary compilation of just videos from my favorite true crime storytellers on TikTok. And I figured that I would gather up some of the stories and just share them with you guys. I also want to say thank you guys so much for all of the support. We are at, let's see, I don't know the exact number, but we are almost at 200 subscribers, y'all. I just want to say thank y'all so much. I really appreciate you guys. Please continue to comment, like, please continue to get more people to subscribe and subscribe if you haven't. And before we get into the video, just please keep in mind these are real people, real stories, and real emotions. I know these videos are for you guys' entertainment, but while you're watching these, also try to take lessons from these videos and learn from them on how to navigate throughout your life and on how to stay safe in certain situations. But again, thank y'all for listening and thank you for vibing with Sid.
She wanted to kill someone who looked like her so she could fake her own death, steal that girl's life, and then frame someone for her murder. It sounds like the plot of a Lifetime movie, but I swear it's not. This is Sheriban K. Sheriban immigrated to Germany from Iraq when she was 7 and seemingly had a pretty normal upbringing. From a very young age, Sheriban had an interest in the beauty space and the beauty industry, beauty community. She was also described as being quite a drama queen and also wanting to be the center of attention. So naturally, she wanted to be a beauty influencer. Sheriban married very young to a man named Rowan. They had a very toxic relationship. Sheriban was really abusive to her husband Rowan, physically abusive. She was also very controlling and jealous when it came to her husband Rowan, which is interesting considering that she was the one that was out all hours of the night and cheating on her husband with multiple men. And at the age of 22 years old, she got pregnant with another man's child. So naturally, her husband finds out that she's been unfaithful, and instead of him getting mad at her, she got mad at him for finding out that she was cheating and attacked him. Sheriban ended up choosing not to keep her baby, and because she was such a terrible wife and person, her husband Rowan got a protection order against her and also filed for divorce. After her divorce, Sheriban got really lost. She started hanging out in the bad part of town with the wrong crowd. She got involved in substances and also petty theft. She was also hooking up with a lot of people at this time, which is whatever, but she was asking these men that she was hooking up with if they would kill for her. Sheriban wanted a member of her ex-husband Rowan's family dead, so she ended up giving one of the guys that she was hooking up with 5,000 euros to kill them, but they ended up scamming her and just taking off with her money. So Sheriban came up with an even crazier plan. She was going to find her doppelganger, someone that she thought looked just like her, so she could kill that girl, fake her own death, steal that girl's life, and also frame her ex-husband Rowan for her murder. Sheriban created all these fake profiles on social media so she could DM aspiring influencers, pretending to be someone in the industry with an opportunity for these aspiring influencers to collab or model for a project. Sheriban was DMing dozens of aspiring influencers just because they kind of look like her, and she wanted to kill them. And they're just innocent strangers in all of this. And this is how Sheriban got in contact with Khadijah O. Khadijah is obviously very beautiful. She went through a lot in her life, but she came out the other side stronger, and she had big dreams of being a beauty influencer. Using one of her fake accounts, Sheriban DM'd Khadijah pretending to be a salon owner, promising Khadijah free beauty treatments if she just posted about it on social media. Sheriban even offered to pick up Khadijah at her house and take her to her salon because her salon was 100 miles away. So on August 16th, 2022, Sheriban made sure to let her parents know that she was going to be meeting up with her ex-husband Rowan, because remember, the plan is to frame her husband for her murder. She's going full Gone Girl. She thinks she's Gone Girl or something. But when Sheriban never came home, her parents went out looking for her. They drove to her ex-husband's house because that's where she said she was going to be. But on their way there, they found their daughter's car parked on a street right near her ex-husband's house. They walk up to their daughter's car and they're looking in the back seat, and can you imagine, in the back seat of the car they see a young girl's body, her bloody body, which they obviously thought was their daughter. This young woman who was in Cherubin's backseat had been brutally attacked. She was attacked 56 times with like a sharp weapon that you would find in your kitchen, primarily in her face. The media began immediately reporting that Cherubin was found murdered in her own car near her ex-husband's house, so her ex-husband Rowan is clearly the prime suspect, which is exactly what Cherubin wanted. But what Cherubin didn't take into account is the fact that DNA testing is a thing. So imagine the shock when they do the autopsy to find out that the body they have is not Cherubin, but another missing woman, Khadijah O. So what had really happened was that Cherubin had convinced a guy that she was hooking up with named Shakia, to kill this innocent stranger for her, Khadijah. And then together they attacked Khadijah 56 times, mostly in her face, because they were hoping that they wouldn't be able to find out that it wasn't Cherubin if her face was completely disfigured. Then together, they left Khadijah's body in the backseat of Cherubin's car and then parked it near her ex-husband's house. So hopefully people would think that it was Cherubin dead in her own car and that her ex-husband had killed her. And then the plan was obviously for Cherubin and her accomplice Shakia to run away together, live happily ever after, but they were caught and arrested the very next day. When Cherubin was arrested, she was wearing Khadijah's clothes and carrying around her purse that she had stolen from her body. The plan was to completely take over Khadijah's life. Luckily, both Cherubin and Shakia were both found guilty and sentenced to life in prison. I'm not sure how old Shakia was, but Cherubin was 23 years old and so was Khadijah. Just so young. And if you watched the end of this video, like always, thank you so much. Leave me all your thoughts in the comments. And while you're there, please let me know what case you want to see me cover next. And until then, I will see you guys next time.
The movie Megan is Missing is probably one of my #1 requested cases or videos, and I'm going to share the story that movie is based off of today. This story is so sad, and it took place in 2002 in Oregon City, Oregon. 12-year-old Ashley Pond disappeared on her way to school. She was running late that day to the bus stop, and she never ended up making it to school. She attended Gardner Middle School, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and she lived in the Newell Creek Village apartments just 10 minutes away from the school. The bus stopped right outside the front of the apartments, so it wasn't a very long walk for her at all. Ashley was very popular in school. She had a lot of friends. She was very involved. She was on the swim team and the dance team, and she was loved by so many around her. When she went missing, some people speculated that an incident that had occurred a few months prior could have led Ashley to run away. That incident was that one day at a friend's house, she claimed that her friend's dad tried touching her, and people called her dramatic and didn't believe her. So some people believe that caused her to run away. However, that's not at all what happened. She had a lot of friends, and everyone around her, including her parents, said that there was no way that she would have just run away. However, despite law enforcement's efforts, they were able to get nowhere in this case. They had no idea who the suspect was. They knew nothing. They literally had no idea where this little girl went. And for a couple of months, the case pretty much just went cold. That was until a few months later, on March 8th, 2002, one of Ashley's good friends, Miranda Gaddis, also vanished from the same bus stop around 8 a.m. These two girls were friends, and Miranda was actually a person who was very involved in the search for Ashley. She did a couple of interviews on the news. For both of them to go missing at the same bus stop around the same time was very odd. When Miranda's mother realized that she never made it to school that day, she immediately called 911, but again, the search efforts came up empty, and law enforcement had no idea what happened to her either. At this point in the investigation, police started to assume that whoever took the girls likely knew them, and whoever the perpetrator was seemed to be targeting the girls considering they were friends, similar in age, they even looked similar, and they lived in the same apartment complex and took the same bus. The case was at a standstill with no leads until August of 2022, so that's quite a few months that this case had no progress, no suspect, nothing. That was until a man named Ward Weaver's son, a resident of the area, called 911 to report that his father, Ward Weaver, had tried to grape his 12-year-old girlfriend. His son also told the dispatcher that his father had confessed to killing both Ashley and Miranda. Ward actually had a 12-year-old daughter himself who was friends with Ashley, and this is the man who Ashley claimed touched her when she was at a friend's house. So it kind of comes full circle when you start to put the pieces together. He had a daughter who was friends with Ashley. Ashley must have been over at his house that day. he tried touching Ashley or doing something to her, and that is where that came about. Because of all these pieces that we're starting to piece together, Ward immediately became the prime suspect in the case. Now, Ward and his family has a long, disgusting history. Ward Weaver had a long history of violence and assaults against women. His father also had a similar history and murdered 2 people during his lifetime, and his stepson was also charged with murder in 2014. So, not sure what happened with that bloodline, but the craziest thing is Ward did interviews with local news stations where he tried to prove his innocence by showing them around the house. They have like this cameraman following Ward around his house. He's basically showing them like, look, they're not here. Like, he's just so bizarre. That was until investigators found the body of Ashley Pond inside of Ward's shed. Her body was found in a box, but at the time, Miranda's body was not found. There's an interview with Miranda's mom where she points out that there was fresh concrete poured in Ward's backyard, and she begged authorities to dig underneath the concrete. She even had to like put a sign on the concrete that said like dig me up or something. It's so eerie, and it's so sad that she had to write that. I can't imagine like being a mother and having to write like dig me up and beg authorities to do something. Eventually, authorities did end up digging up the concrete that Ward had poured, and they unfortunately did find Miranda's body buried underneath there. On October 2nd, 2022, Ward was charged with 6 counts of aggravated murder, 2 counts of abuse to the corpse in 2nd degree, 1 count of sexual abuse in the 1st degree, and 1 count of attempted rape in the 2nd degree, 1 count of attempted aggravated murder, 1 count of attempted rape in the 1st degree, and 1 count of sexual abuse in the 1st degree, 1 count of sexual abuse in the 2nd degree, 2 counts of sexual abuse in the 3rd degree. Reading that was a mouthful. Like, he was sentenced to 2 life sentences and will spend the rest of his life in prison. I personally have not watched the movie Megan is Missing. I've heard like mixed reviews on it. I've heard it's like really, really hard to watch. If there are any like similarities or discrepancies between the movie and the case, comment them below because I'm very curious. But that is the case that the movie is tragically based on.
So this TikToker really wants to be famous and known for something. And oh, is he about to get what he wants. Now his name's Ali, and he's 29, living in San Diego, and one day he starts posting videos on TikTok, where he's doing like impressions of Skyrim characters, and he's always doing impressions of Tony Montana from Scarface. And these videos blow up, and so he keeps making more and more. And pretty soon, Ali has nearly 1 million followers. And so he might actually be on his way to being famous. Now, Ali is married to this nice woman, Anna, and they have a daughter together. And soon, she starts appearing in some of his TikToks every now and then, including one very memorable TikTok of them dancing with a caption talking about how their relationship is drama-free. But whatever, from their videos, it appears as if their relationship is good, and his career seems to be on the up and up, and I can't imagine anything would ever go wrong. Until... Here's the thing about Ali. He's not the most stable person in the world, and over time, he picks up the habit of doing a lot of nose drugs that we'll just call Coca-Cola. In fact, he's known to whip out a huge bag of Coca-Cola on his live streams, and he'll get high in front of his audience. Now, obviously, I can't show you the part where he does the drugs, but regardless, this dude is obsessed with doing everything on camera. Like when he and Anna get into fights, he'll live stream it for some reason.
Don't even f***ing talk to me, f***ing taking away my whole life.
Yeah, it's crazy. But what he doesn't ever put on camera and show his TikTok audience is the parts where he gets violent with her, which he does sometimes when they argue. He's like shoving her and punching her and stuff like that. In fact, his violent outbursts get so bad that over the course of a few months, she calls police on him 9 different times. But that doesn't seem to faze him or get him to stop. In fact, all the attention he's getting online has made him feel like he's untouchable.
I don't even want to be like Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm not trying to be the next Al Pacino. I probably could.
And of course, he makes sure to let Anna know, like in voicemails and stuff.
I'm a f***ing god. I'm a sexy mother
I'm a fucking internet celebrity.
And so at this point, you're probably like, Ray, if he's such a psychopath, why doesn't she just leave? Well, here's the thing about Anna. She's actually a Filipino citizen, and she got her visa to the US through her marriage to Ali. So when Anna brings up separating, he threatens to have her deported, which means she won't be able to be with her daughter who would stay with Ali in the US. So she's essentially trapped. Not only that, he also does this thing to her when he doesn't get his way that he'll threaten to unalive himself.
Just keep calling the cops.
Yeah, because he just tried to commit suicide. So that's what it is. He had a gun in his face with my daughter sleeping on the couch.
I have to do that just to get her to come home.
And if that isn't bad enough, he thinks that because they're married, he's entitled to smash whenever he wants. Of course, Anna doesn't want to because he's abusive to her.
When's the last time we had sex? Tell me.
There's a billion other women out there for you that will you in a heartbeat.
Yeah, a billion other men for you too. Is that your hope?
And so because she's not smashing with him, he starts getting paranoid that she's out there cheating on him.
There's no way that you're not somebody right now. There's no way. No woman as beautiful as you is gonna go a month without sex.
Here's the crazy thing though. Despite how often he gets jealous and accuses her, it's actually him who's been sleeping around on her. Because one day, Anna hears a knock on the door, and she opens it, and it's some woman who lives in the building. And this woman tells Anna, me and Ali have been sleeping together in your apartment. I guess she's trying to warn her or let her know. I actually don't know why this woman confesses. But this is when Anna has finally had enough.
There's my wife, 7 years. She wants to leave me after 7 years. She couldn't even wait for the visa to finish.
That just means I don't need your visa. That's not what I came here for. I came here for you.
And that's when Anna decides she can't take it anymore, and she's gonna separate and go stay with a friend.
You said you don't love me anymore.
Leave.
You said you don't love me anymore. You said you don't love me anymore.
I said leave.
No.
I said leave.
No.
All right, then me and your daughter will leave. I'm trying, man.
No, you're not. You're disrespecting me. You ain't trying. You ain't trying.
So now Anna and her daughter are staying with a friend, which is not ideal, but at least she's safe. But then one day, Ali calls her and says, you know what? You can have the apartment. Just take the apartment and I'll go stay in a hotel. And this is great news to Anna. Like, she'll have her old place back with her daughter and, most importantly, without Ali. And so she moves back in. But here's what Anna doesn't know, though. Sneaky ass Ali has made a copy of the electronic key to her place so that he can enter it anytime he wants. And it's only a matter of time before he goes crazy again. And one day, out of nowhere, Anna gets sent a bunch of roses, and they're from Ali. Now, she's done with him, and so she doesn't reach out and say thank you or that she even got them, nor should she. And this pisses Ali off. And he's apparently been up all night doing Coca-Cola, so he's way out of his mind, and he is just gonna lay into her. And so he goes over to the apartment, and he lets himself in. But luckily for her, she's not there. And he's like, F this, and he just starts trashing the place, knocking things over, throwing her stuff around, smashing the roses he got her. But then, to make it worse, he takes an iPad that he has. Now, this iPad has Discord downloaded on it. And so he takes this iPad and he hides it in between the wall and the bed. And he leaves it on so that it will record audio of anything that goes on in the apartment. He thinks he's gonna try and catch her cheating, which it really isn't cheating because they're no longer together. But despite that, then Ali leaves and he goes back to his hotel. Then Anna comes home and she sees that the apartment's been trashed and she knows it was Ali and she's shocked and she's hurt. Like, how could he do this to the place that his own daughter lives in? Now, her daughter will be home from school soon, and Anna doesn't want her to see all this destruction that her dad caused. So she calls a mutual friend of her and Ali's, this guy, Rayburn. And Rayburn comes over to help her clean up this mess. Meanwhile, at Ali's hotel, he wakes up from his drug nap, and he hears Anna through the iPad, and he can hear her in her apartment talking with another man. And he just snaps. Another man in the apartment with his wife? He is not gonna let this slide. And so he gets his pew-pew. And then he drives from his hotel to her building as fast as he can. And then boom, he busts into her apartment. And he immediately sees Anna and Rayburn sitting on the couch, and instantly, blam, 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 he shoots Rayburn, and then blam, he shoots Anna too. And unfortunately, they're both instantly unalived. And pretty quickly after that, police show up, and boom, Ali is arrested. Now, I don't actually have a mugshot of him, but here's a picture of him in jail behind glass. Now remember, Ali wanted to be famous and known for something, so he's really upset about how this is going to affect his acting career.
I wanted to be an actor, and I was right there. I was right there. The weekend before all this happened, I was in LA at the Comedy Store. I was talking to producers. I was about to have a talent agent. I was right there.
No, you weren't. Anyway, he goes to trial and he gets sentenced to life in prison. Good.
This teenager brutally killed his parents and then threw a house party afterwards with his parents' bodies still in the home. So this is Tyler Hadley. His parents were Blake and Mary Jo. Tyler also had an older brother who doesn't really play a part in this case. Growing up, Tyler was actually really close with his parents. He was actually like a very clingy kid, and he saw his parents as more like best friends. Tyler was described as like the sweetest kid who never got in trouble, but at a very young age, I'm talking like 9 years old or possibly even younger, Tyler started to show signs of anxiety and depression. And unlike some other cases that we've covered, Tyler's parents actually immediately, at the first signs of trouble, tried to get their son help for his mental health. But controversially, Tyler was actually put on antidepressants at like 10 years old. And some of these medications can actually have some pretty crazy side effects for adults, so I couldn't even imagine how it would affect a child with a developing brain. Tyler was actually on quite a few medications at this time, and his personality started to completely change. He went from being like the sweetest, perfect kid who never got in trouble to acting out, rebelling, and actually committing petty crimes. And the relationship between Tyler and his parents also started to change because they used to be like best friends. Tyler never got in trouble. Now they have to discipline Tyler all the time. And at only 11 years old, Tyler told one of his friends for the first time that he wanted to kill his parents. And by only 12 years old, Tyler was experimenting with substances and also drinking. The relationship between Tyler and his parents is completely rocky. Tyler's getting in trouble all the time. He's acting out, he's rebelling. So his parents are grounding him, they're disciplining him, and then Tyler would resent his parents because he was getting in trouble. It's really important for you guys to understand that Tyler's parents are not bad people. They are good people. They're really good parents. All they're trying to do is discipline their 11-year-old, 12-year-old, 13, 14, 15-year-old son as Tyler grows up. If they were bad parents, they just wouldn't do anything. They would just let Tyler screw up his life. But they were actually really good parents, which is why they were trying to get him on the right track. But Tyler hated them anyways, and by July of 2011, Tyler was 17 years old, and he started telling all of his friends that he wanted to kill his parents, but not only that, he wanted to kill his parents and then throw a huge house party afterwards. And by July 16th, 2011, Tyler began to plan that party. Tyler made the now infamous post on social media, "Party at my crib tonight, ... maybe." Tyler was unsure in his post if there was going to be a party because he was still contemplating if he could go through with killing his parents or not, but in the end, he decided that he could. Tyler got a hammer from the garage. He went into the living room where his mother, Mary Jo, was on the computer. He snuck up behind her and he hit his mother over the head with the hammer. He actually struck his mother, Mary Jo, 36 times. Tyler's father, Blake, is in the other room. When he hears the commotion, he runs in, and when he sees what his son has done, his youngest son has done to his mother and his wife, Blake's wife, all he says to his son is, "Why?" And Tyler says, "Why the F not?" before attacking his father, Blake, as well, and he struck his dad with the hammer 39 times. Very violent, brutal attack, just filled with so much rage and anger, and you have to ask yourself, why? Tyler dragged his parents' bodies into the bedroom, and then he threw whatever he could find on top of their bodies, furniture, pillows, wrapping paper, literally whatever he could find. He just threw on top of their bodies. He then went to clean up the crime scene because he had a party to plan. He took a shower and then he posted that the party was on. 100 people went to Tyler's house party that night with no idea that there were 2 murder victims in the other room. And for whatever reason, Tyler felt like he needed to tell someone his little secret. So in the middle of the party, Tyler went up to his best friend, Michael, since they were best friends since they were 8 years old, and told him that he killed his parents and his parents' bodies were in the other room. Michael does not believe Tyler Tyler when Tyler says he kills his parents. He thinks it's some like sick, weird joke. So Tyler brings Michael into his parents' bedroom, and even though Tyler like had thrown all that stuff on top of his parents to try and cover their bodies, Michael could still see their bodies underneath all of it. Michael, he's only 17 years old. He's like a baby. He just found out that his best friend since he was 8 years old has killed his parents. Michael probably knew Tyler's parents and knew them well. Michael's in a state of shock. He's horrified. He's terrified. He's in disbelief. But Michael doesn't want to let on to Tyler that he's terrified of him and shocked and horrified by what he's done, because Michael doesn't know what Tyler will do next. There's a house full of people having a party in this house, and he doesn't know if Tyler's gonna just go and kill them all. So Michael, he tries and plays it cool. He stays at the party for a little bit longer, acting like he has no idea that there's 2 dead bodies in the other room. He's just at the party, he's hanging out, he's playing beer pong. And after he's been at the party for a little bit, Michael goes up to Tyler and he tells him that he's gonna head home. But before he leaves, he takes one last selfie with his best friend Tyler. Very infamous photo now in this case, because Michael knows that that will be the last time he'll ever see his best friend. Michael left the party and he called 911. The police immediately show up. The party is still kind of going on, and the police find Tyler's parents' bodies in the house while there's still people there like partying. Tyler was immediately arrested. He pled guilty, so there was no trial, and he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, but that was later changed to life in prison with the possibility of parole. So there's a chance that one day he could be released, but I seriously doubt it, because allegedly Tyler has never once shown remorse for what he's done. This is such a messed up case for so many reasons. There's so many levels and layers to it. Tyler had an older brother who was off at college while his brother killed his parents. When you're in college, you're still so young, you're like a baby. So this young man goes off to college, and then his entire family is just gone. Tyler's parents, Mary Jo and Blake, were good people, good parents that absolutely did not deserve what happened to them. Their lives were brutally taken from them, and for what reason? So their son could throw a one house party and be in handcuffs only a couple hours later. I'm sure it was really disturbing for all the young people that attended Tyler's party to realize that they were in a crime scene and there were dead bodies in the other room. But especially there was probably so much trauma for Michael, who actually saw Mary Jo and Blake's bodies and then had to turn on his best friend and turn his best friend into the police. What are your guys' thoughts on this case? Have you ever heard of this case? What do you think Tyler's motive was? He was a sweet kid who was so close with his parents. He was like a mommy's boy. And then he goes and like commits this terrible, violent murder for like seemingly no reason at all. Do you believe the theory that his brain chemistry just got all messed up? Definitely leave me all your thoughts and theories in the comments below. While you're there, please let me know what case you want to see me cover next. And until then, I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next time with another video.
The murder of famous YouTuber and singer Christina Grimmie is one of the saddest and most shocking cases I've covered. It's the story of how one disturbed and obsessed individual took away everything she worked so hard to get. Hi, I'm Meg. I talk about true crime. Let's get into this case. This case hits very different for me because I really liked Christina Grimmie. It was really hard to go back and watch all those videos, so let's get into it. Christina Grimmie was born in New Jersey in 1994. She absolutely loved to sing from a very young age. In 2009, when she was only 15, she posted her very first cover onto YouTube.
Hi, I'm going to be singing I Don't Want to Be Torn by Hannah Montana,
under the username ZeldaxLove64. Little did she know that YouTube channel would absolutely change her life. Her first video that really went kind of viral was her cover of Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus. This was also in 2009, so her first year on YouTube. Christina was extremely talented, and the thing people really loved about her was how she added her own twist onto every cover that she did. She always managed to make her covers really unique. She slowly started getting more and more recognition, and in 2011 she started singing backup for Selena Gomez. She would even end up touring with Selena. June of 2011, she released an EP called Find Me, and it hit number 35 on the US Billboard 200. She was eventually on Ellen, her songs were being released on Radio Disney. Selena Gomez was her mentor. In 2012, she decided to move to LA to really focus on her career. At this point, her YouTube channel was growing super fast. She had grown to 2 million subscribers, 375 million views on her channel, and she was collaborating with a lot of other YouTubers and famous celebrities. The thing I really loved about Christina when I used to watch her was her energy. I always felt like you could tell she was a really kind person.
I just want to inspire people and be successful and make people happy, you know?
She really cared about everyone individually, which just makes everything in this case that much more heartbreaking. People loved Christina, and I think it was for the same reason that I did. She just seemed really genuine and caring. In 2014, she was on season 6 of The Voice. To this day, it's my favorite audition on any singing show ever. I'm not joking to you when I say I watched that audition a million times. I know it by heart. She performed Miley Cyrus's Wrecking Ball and blew everybody away, including me. All the judges obviously turned around for her. It was not an audition, it was more of an amazing performance. She ended up getting 3rd place on The Voice. I think she should have got 1st. I think she should have just won the moment she auditioned, to be honest. She was a star and things just kept rising for her. She kept getting bigger and bigger. Throughout the years, she continued growing and releasing music. She released a lot of covers and they were always just like chef's kiss, amazing. Like, I won't lie to you, her version of Wrecking Ball on The Voice will forever, in my opinion, be better than Miley Cyrus's version. And I love Miley's voice and her songs, so that's saying a lot. Christina continued opening up and performing for bands and music groups. And that's exactly what she was going to do on the 10th of June, 2016. She was performing with Before You Exit at the Plaza Live in Orlando. Before the show, she posted an announcement just saying like, hey guys, I'm performing here tonight, come and support me. And she performed amazingly, as usual. The performance ended at 10 p.m. that night, and then Christina went to do a meet and greet. She was outside the venue just signing some autographs, greeting fans. Christina absolutely adored her fans, and it was so clear. Like, she was so thankful for every single one of them. And she always greeted everyone with open arms and kindness. Everything would take a horrible turn at around 10:24 during that meet and greet. Christina was approached by a 27-year-old man. His name was Kevin, and at first he seemed like a really shy fan. So Christina went to give him a hug. She greeted him with open arms. And that's when he pulled out a pistol and shot Christina 3 times. Kevin immediately started running off, and Christina's brother was actually there, and so he tackled Kevin to the ground. Kevin briefly got away, but he then took the gun and took his own life with the gun. Christina fell to the ground in front of her brother, her fans, and she was bleeding quite severely from the head. Christina was pronounced dead at 11 p.m. at the hospital that same night. She was shot once in the head and twice in the chest, and her entire promising future was taken away in a second. Let's talk a bit about Kevin now and why he did what he did. According to the police, that night, Kevin traveled with 2 guns, 2 magazines full of ammo, and a very large hunting knife. There were no metal detectors at the venue where the concert happened. Kevin didn't have any record of mental illness that they knew of, but he apparently had a very unrealistic and unhealthy obsession with Christina Grimmie. He was completely infatuated with her. He even tried to change his appearance to be more attractive for her. He lost weight, he got his teeth whitened, he got a hair transplant, and so much more. It was an extremely intense fixation and obsession. It's believed that Kevin killed Christina with the motive of, if I can't have you, nobody will. In his mind, he possessed her by taking her life. And apparently right before that night, he told people that he was tired and ready to ascend. Christina's death was a horrific tragedy. It was heartbreaking for everybody who knew her, her family, her fans, the entire YouTube community. If you were like me and watched a lot of YouTube in 2016, it was very different to how it is now. It was very close-knit, and the entire online community mourned her. It was truly devastating. Selena even paid tribute to Christina at one of her concerts. Here's that video.
One thing about Christina and her family is that she holds her faith so closely to her. And I don't really understand how this really happened, but I would like to dedicate this next song to her.
I find it really hard to watch that video and not cry. A lot of lawsuits and changes came after Christina's death. Venues were made to be a lot more strict when it came to security, as they should be. There should have never not been a metal detector at that venue. Christina Grimmie's family created the Christina Grimmie Foundation. Its purpose was to help victims who have suffered from gun violence. I feel like this story is pretty unknown, so I just wanted to share her legacy and voice because it should be heard by everyone. It's also very strange for me because when this happened, I was only 16, but now I'm 23. She was 22 when she died. It feels really strange. She was only 22 years old. She was so successful. She would have made it so far. And it was all taken away in a matter of minutes because someone was infatuated with her, obsessed to an unhealthy level. And that is the tragic case of Christina Grimmie. If you take anything away from this video, go check out her voice audition. It's unbelievable. It's horrible to think that if the security had just been better, she would literally be here right now. She would have made it so far. That's all for today. If you enjoy true crime videos, I've got a whole playlist down here with like over 100 videos, so go crazy. I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.